It's going to be an exciting episode of Twin Tiers Sunday. We head to the great outdoors to explore some of the great hidden things of the Twin Tiers, so make sure you stay tuned.
You're watching Twin Tiers Sunday with Jennifer Sheahen.
Welcome to Twin Tiers Sunday. I'm your host, Jennifer Sheahen. This week, we're going to the great outdoors. We're exploring all the beautiful places that the Finger Lakes has to offer. And today, we're going to start right here at Buttermilk Falls in Ithaca. Now, Fred's joining us. He's going to tell us a little bit about the state parks and what they have to offer.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, beautiful day in the park.
Tell me a little bit about the state parks here, especially Buttermilk, and what it has to offer.
Sure, we're here in Buttermilk Falls State Park, and it's one of the 6 parks in the Finger Lakes region that feature gorges and waterfalls. It was a park donated by the Treman family in 1924. The land was donated. It's about 794 acres right now, and you can come here to swim, you can come here to picnic, hike, and camp.
Perfect. And tell me a little bit about the waterfall, how big it is, and also once you hike up towards the top, there's a lot of different things that you can see up there as well.
It's a wonderful hike. It's about a mile hike up to the top of the park. There's a lower park and an upper park. There's a trail that runs through the gorge trail, and then there's the rim trail that you can return on that comes back. There are a whole series of cascades, elevation drop almost 1,000 feet from top to bottom. And it's one of my favorite parks. I spent 7 summers here working as a lifeguard as a kid.
Wow, that's absolutely incredible. Now, the steps here, though, are a little bit difficult going up. Is there an easier way for people who might not be able to make it up the difficult steps going up this side, up the waterfall? Is there another way that you would recommend them to take?
Well, both the gorge trail and the rim trail have a significant amount of elevation to them. If somebody has some challenges with mobility, I would encourage them to go to Teganic Falls State Park. That's another park that features a waterfall. It's a waterfall 3 stories taller than Niagara Falls. But the path leading up to that waterfall is very flat. It's about a 3/4 of a mile hike up to the base of that waterfall, and it's a very flat trail.
See, that's very nice. Now, if somebody wants to camp here, do you offer that as well?
We do. We offer camping at all of the Ithaca area parks and throughout the Finger Lakes system, and they can check out NewYorkStateParks.com to get information on how to make those reservations through Reserve America.
Perfect. How many different parks are in the area? Ithaca is kind of a different place than the rest of New York State. I think we have a few just in one little spot here.
Sure. Here in the Ithaca area, we have Buttermilk Falls State Park. Just down the road is Robert Treman State Park. That also features gorges and waterfalls and a natural swimming area. About 9 miles to the north is Teganic Falls State Park. That features the 215-foot waterfall, Teganic Falls. We also have Alan Treman Marino, one of the largest inland marinas in New York State.
Pretty cool. Now, what are some of the specialties when people come to Buttermilk? I guess kind of the hidden places of Buttermilk, because obviously you have your big fall up here. Where else can people can go and explore?
Well, this lower park is a very popular spot for swimming and picnicking. If you do happen to hike the gorge trail, up near the top of the park is a significant geological feature called Pinnacle Rock. There's a large stone structure that just sits right in the middle. The water is washed around on either side of it, and it's really cool.
That's very cool. Now, the other park, Tremaine, tell me a little bit about that park, what it has to offer, and I know you guys are doing some construction there too, so the best way for people to get around in Tremaine.
Well, right now, Treman is a park that features the hiking and the swimming as well, and camping. We don't have a huge construction project going on right now, but it's another very popular picnicking area, hiking area. People will often combine a visit with Buttermilk and Treman. And one thing to remember is that when you pay your vehicle a parking fee, you should hold on to that ticket, because that gives you admission to any of the state parks that same day.
That's incredible. And also, I have the New York State Empire Pass on my vehicle. So what you can do is you buy that at $65, I believe, right?
Yeah, it's $65, and that gives you admission to all of the parks in New York State.
I've already used enough to pay for it this year because there's so many different places that you can go and see and explore. What is your favorite memory? You know, you've been here for a long time now. What is your favorite memory that you've made in your working with the parks, you know, since you were a little kid?
So I was actually sitting here in the lifeguard chair just behind us, and it was the end of summer, and I had a gentleman come up with a heavy Bronx accent, and he kept asking me, "Where the pumps? Where the pumps?" And I couldn't understand what he was saying, and I finally figured it out. He was asking, "Where are the pumps? How do you get the water up to the top of the waterfall?" And I explained to him that there's a lake at the top, and it rains and it streams and so forth, and encouraged him to take a hike. And he took that hike and came back a completely transformed, completely changed individual. So that's one of the memories that I hold on tightest to, is that these parks can deliver an experience that can be transformative, can really help people understand a sense of place. So
Definitely. And, you know, I moved here from Chicago, and having the experience and bringing my family here was definitely a wonderful thing. And oftentimes people that even live in the Finger Lakes don't realize what amazing things are going on for them to see and do and experience that, you know, we sometimes take for granted once you start living here. So it's definitely great. What would you say to someone, I guess, who lives right here at home that maybe says, you know what, I don't know, it's just a hike?
well, it is a hike. It's a great hike. It's one that you can go on with your family and bond like you have. It's one that when you have friends visiting from out of town, it's a way to show them something special about our area, our Finger Lakes area. So there's some really important places and some great things that people can discover. Some great memories to be had.
All right, wonderful. Thank you so much. Now stay tuned. We're going to go to the river. We'll see you after the break.
Twin Tier Sunday will return in a moment.
As you can see, we're enjoying a beautiful summer day with Mr. Jim over here from the Chemung County Rivershed. Go ahead and tell me a little bit about the program and what you guys do.
Sure. What we're trying to do is promote the river and protect it, make people aware that it's here and what it can be used for. Everything from paddling and fishing to getting back in touch with nature and education to doing just what we're doing, is river sitting. Simply bringing your lawn chairs out in the shallows and sitting here and cooling off and enjoying the river. What I like about it is it flows through our backyard, easy to get to, and when you come down here, it's like being out in the middle of nowhere in nature. Different sounds, fragrances, you see wildlife and plant life that you don't see, but you're literally, in some cases, just 60 seconds away from your home or from what I call civilization.
Yeah.
So we're trying to make people aware of what a great resource we have here. Let's use it. Let's take care of it and make the most of it.
Definitely. Now, we just went canoeing, and we also went on a bike ride through a trail that I didn't even know existed. Tell me a little bit about that trail and how people can kind of get involved and work with it.
The trails exist. These are up in West Elmira. They started about Ohio Avenue, and they run parallel to the river on the north side down to about Grove Street. They are primitive trails that are there because people have just used them for years and years. No one has actually built them. Different groups of people maintain them. But what's nice about them is it takes you through forested areas, it takes you through meadows, it takes you down next to the river, and you can walk the trails. They're about 2.5 miles, and then come back and walk on top of the grassy levee. You're about 30 feet up, a different view and a different route back. The biggest use of the whole 45-mile river are folks walking their dogs or riding bikes on those trails up in West Elmira. And again, it's trails that have been there forever. People who've lived here forever aren't aware of them. We take them up there like you today, and see them for the first time and say, my God, these are gorgeous. They come back and use them. And my belief has been if I can change spectators into participants, they become river friends. They just start taking care of the river and appreciating it and understanding what it can do for them, for the community. It just offers so much for recreation and a great opportunity, a great venue for a classroom about learn about nature.
And it's absolutely incredible the things that you see that you wouldn't expect. We were out there and we saw an eagle, And it was incredible. You know, Jim's like, look at this. Jim, why don't you tell people what we saw today?
This morning we were out and we saw a juvenile bald eagle, which means it doesn't have its white head yet. They usually don't get those till about 5 years old. But Jen and I were watching and we saw something swimming across the river and I could tell it was a muskrat. All of a sudden we saw an eagle trying to grab that muskrat and pull it out of the river. I've never seen that in my life. I don't know if I ever will. It was a wonderful experience. But that's what I'm talking about. You can leave your home 60 seconds away, go over the levee, and you're down and you're seeing nature in its finest, seeing our national bird trying to fish for itself, but not fishing for fish, fishing for muskrat.
There's also a lot of history that you kind of see and learn about when you go out with Jim or take a hike or anything. He was telling me about an old carousel that used to be here. Why don't you tell me a little bit about that and the community that used to thrive here along the river?
Sure. Late 1800s, early 1900s, before the automobile was here, the river was the place where you went for recreation. It was the equivalent of probably the Finger Lakes today. People had cottages along the river. There were boardwalks built. There were swings. There were wooden slides along the river. But down on the south side at the base of Mount Zor Hill was what was known as Rorik's Glen. It was opened in the late 1900s. It had a carousel. It had a opera house, a restaurant. The Manhattan Opera played there.
It's just incredible.
And at night, that's where folks went. It was the place to go for recreation. There was a steamship that ran along there. So the river was used for recreation back then. Folks would get up on Saturday mornings. They'd rent canoes at the Cotton Boat Livery in Elmira, put them on flatbed train that would go up to Corning, and then they'd paddle back down to
That's
Elmira.
incredible.
And what was great is it was a formal affair for them. The men would be in suit and ties, the women would be dressed in dresses with these beautiful hats while they're paddling along the river.
And you were telling me too, if you dig anywhere along the river, you can find actually Native American relics and things like that.
Yep.
How did they find that out?
Archaeologists. I mean, there's a archaeological team from Binghamton. It's been digging along the river down in Chemung for a long time, where a Native American village was. So, but you have to remember, this was the highway and the source of food for the Native American villages. This is where they traveled. So, all along shores, they would be fishing. They would be maybe setting up camps, coming down here to play, coming down here to stay cool. And the Native Americans would move a lot. So if the river was sort of their meeting spot, their source of food and transportation.
Now, like he could go on and on and on about the history of things. So if you want to learn more about that, you have all different kinds of tours and everything, because they're friends of the river right here. So go ahead and tell me a little bit about how people can get out and what tours you offer, what opportunities they have to learn more about this beautiful river we have.
We do guided paddles on the river, and that's the best way to, if you've never paddled or you're a novice, to learn the basics, to learn safety, and to go with a group that knows what they're doing, that has experience, guides. It's fun, it's safer. We scout the river out ahead to make sure there's no downed trees. We provide all the transportation, and all of them have an educational theme. One of them is Native Americans, and we've got a couple of neat surprises for the paddlers that are going to be on that trip. We also do hikes on the river trails, bicycle trips on the river trails, cross-country skiing, and then we'll do bird walks, or we'll do, in the fall, we do like a haunted happenings.
Jim's tried to scare me today, okay? So we're going, and he's like, be careful for the pirates. We're in the canoe. Be careful for the pirates. I was like, I trust Jim, mind you. I'm very naive at this point. I'm like, okay, what pirates is he talking about? So we're paddling, and he's like, okay, they're right above your head. And there's maybe like 3 or 4 squirrels right above our head playing around. Looks like they're going to jump on us. So it's an incredible thing. You learn, you have fun. It's a way to get your family out and start enjoying again.
And Jen, a good point. It is something that the whole family can do. And I hear that a lot from parents who say, I finally found something that my son or daughter likes to do that I like to do, and that maybe would be to go out for a paddle. I talked to a woman who was recently divorced, and she said, I can't find anything that my son and I have in common. And she came on one of our paddles, and she wrote me a letter afterwards saying how much fun her son and her had. It was the first time since the divorce they had spent 4 hours together doing something, and they really bonded.
It's wonderful.
So yeah, that just makes you feel great. Bringing kids out, especially on our events, is important because they're the future stewards of the river. They're going to be taking care of it. And so many kids now have this nature disconnect where they They aren't joining scouts. They aren't learning how to fish or hunt. So they're not aware that our drinking water comes out of here, that our life depends on this. And
Definitely.
that, and that we have to take care of our environment. So that's the other thing we're trying to do is make people see, look at this wonderful resource. We can enjoy it, but we have to take care of it. What I like to say is that this doesn't belong to us. We're borrowing it from our kids and our grandkids. Let's take care of it, return it to them in at least as good a condition as they lend it to us or even
Definitely. And, I live in Elmira, and I really never thought that, I go to maybe Watkins Glen to go hiking and things like that. But the trail right here is, beautiful. It was incredible walking down there and knowing that now I have a place to go in the city aspect, but just right in my own backyard where I can go and walk and enjoy was kind of a relief for me, being an outdoors person. So I'm definitely going to take advantage of that. How can other people then get involved now? How can they get in hold with you to get on a tour or anything like that?
Unfortunately, all of our paddles are booked. We may schedule one more leaf peeping paddle in the fall. We advertise it through the media on Facebook, or you can go to our webpage, which is www.chemungriverfriends.org, and learn about it, or just give us a call. I love if I got a group of people who want to do a paddle, and I talk to them, and sometimes I'll go out with them and I'll put a paddle together just with them and their friends because I want them to get interested in the river, take care of the river. Like I said, getting people on the water and letting the river work their magic, then they become river friends. So that's so important to do, just like we're doing here.
Yeah. And what are we doing here?
Well,
by the way, what are we doing here?
Call this River City.
Jim, I called Jim. I was like, Jim, where do you want to do your interview? He's like, let's do it in the river. We're going to sit in the river. I was like, okay, so tell me a little bit about this new activity that you have as well.
There's lots of places to do it. As you see, it's a great way to sit here and catch some beneficial tanning rays, to stay cool and enjoy the river. My wife and I do it a lot. We'll go out. In the summer, this river is shallow. I call it the Jesus Christ River because you can walk across most of it in the summer. But we can go out in the middle of the river. It'll be 6 inches deep. We put our lawn chairs there, and we'll watch the sunset, and we'll pack a lunch, and we'll bring a fishing pole. It's beautiful, and it's easy.
Yep, that's right. So come out, enjoy,
Watch with us.
get a hold of the River Friends, get involved, and enjoy the rest of your Sunday.
Thank you, folks.
Yep, thanks, Jim, for coming out. I appreciate you
pleasure.
taking the time to get to show me everything and take me out on your bike and take me out canoeing. So I had to enjoy it. Now, stay tuned for the rest of the outdoor show.
Twin Tier Sunday will return in a moment.
Welcome back. We're in the Gaffer District right now. I know you were outside enjoying nature for a while, but now it's time for some city life. And Colleen Fabrizi joins me now. She's going to tell me about all the summer activities that are going on in the Gaffer District and what you can do if you want to put on, some nice clothes, some heels, and kind of have a night out on the town. So tell me a little bit about what's going on this summer and what people can come out here and enjoy.
Well, the Gaffer District, as you may have heard, has become quite the dining destination, and with that dining comes all kinds of fun. We also have concerts happening all summer long. It's sort of the type of downtown where you can decide what's the thing that makes you the happiest, and we probably have it.
That's wonderful. I know when I first moved here, my first experience with the Gaffer was coming down here the night I moved here and being like, I feel like I'm a home away from a home. It's almost like a slice of big city life, so you can come down, enjoy all the new restaurants. Like she said, they have live music, which I was looking on your website. I believe you have a night where they actually perform right in Centerway Square, correct?
Yes, actually Thursday night, July 12th, we have Virgil Caine, very popular artist in the region. And then on July 24th, we have Gary Morris. He's a country artist, but he also had some incredible time on Broadway. We're pretty excited, and the best part about all the concerts at Centerway Square, they're free.
Yep.
It's a nice way to do the evening.
Exactly. It's pretty incredible. How are you lining up these big artists then to come in and perform for free? That's not something, I guess, that they normally do. You guys must have the magic touch.
Well, something like that. We have Lynn Kotlinski. She's our director of events, and she comes from Vegas and has a lot of great connections. And to be honest with you, the artists that have been here talk very, very highly about coming to the Gaffer District. Many of them who've been with us a couple of times, Ty Herndon, for example, and Anita Cochran, they come a few days early because they want to shop and they want to dine in our restaurants.
Exactly. And speaking of restaurants, you guys have an amazing selection. There's also a new restaurant, an Asian restaurant that just opened up. Do you know anything about that you can tell me about?
What I can tell you is that they expected to be a little busy when they opened, but they didn't ever have an idea that they would be as slammed as they have been, which is a good problem, I understand, if you're opening a restaurant. We have 3 more due to open before fall. It's quite an incredible thing, it really is. It's you know, you hear dining destination and you think, Corning? That little city? Well, we may be a little city, but when it comes to dining and all of the options that are available, we're the big time.
That is right. I mean, let's see, we have Mexican food. The cellar has wine tastings, a little bit of tapas. Now you have the new Asian restaurant. And what other selections do you have for people to come out and enjoy that maybe I don't know about or I haven't experienced yet?
Well, we have wonderful Italian restaurants in town. A couple of pizza places that are near and dear to many hearts that have been here for generations, and yet others that are just, well, newbies, say within the last 10 years. Definitely something for everyone. We have wonderful burrito bar here in town and bakeries. Did I mention bakeries?
She's right. The baked goods. I'm serious. I come and get my hair done here at AJ's. Come on down and go across the street. Is it Poppleton? There you go. Get myself a little crepe. It is great. It's almost when you come out, it doesn't matter if you're in the morning or at night. There's people everywhere. You can enjoy a cup of coffee outside. It is a little bit of, it's good to see people around. So if you're looking to and kind of enjoy a little bit more of a crowd, this is definitely a place to come. It's not overcrowded or anything like that, but it's that interaction, that social interaction that's really wonderful. Now, do you guys have any events coming up for people to kind of make it a staple for their weekend or a night or anything?
Sure. We have Race Fever coming up in August. It's the Thursday before NASCAR, and that happens over on the north side of our downtown on Bridge Street. And then we have Crystal City Ferrari. And if you've never been to Crystal City Ferrari, and you probably don't think you're ever going to own one, there'll be plenty to hear for you to drool over. They're neat cars, and that people really enjoy seeing them. That's the last weekend in August, but check the website because I'm not exactly sure on the date. And then we have Harvest Music Festival coming up September 19th and 20th, and it's going to be a really good weekend. We have in town a wonderful jazz artist on Friday night who I understand sounds just like Louis Armstrong. Yeah, and I've seen his video. He really does. It's going to be really cool. And then Pam Tillis and her instrumentalist coming on Saturday. Again, free. It's going to be a good weekend. I hope people come on out and join us.
Definitely, I agree. There's lots of great stuff to do. Now, if people are coming from out of town, where can they stay around here?
Well, we're fortunate in this area. We have wonderful hotels, B&Bs, campgrounds. The best place to get information on that is the Information Center of Corning. If you contact through the Corning Chamber website, you can get information there, or go to corningfingerlakes.com. That is the Steuben County Conference and Visitors Bureau website. Lots of information on where to stay.
Perfect. Now, if somebody wants to know events are coming up, what's your website?
GafferDistrict.com, and you can also follow us on Facebook.
Wonderful. And then, now finally, Colleen, what was your favorite part of the summer so far? Here, your favorite memory that you've made thus far, and there's still more to come, but thus far here at the Gaffer.
My personal memory? My personal memory has to be, it happened just after Glass Fest weekend. Walking down the street, and I think it was actually probably the Wednesday or Thursday after Glass Fest, and I happened to be behind a family, and it was a multi-generational family, grandparents, parents, and the little grandkids. And the couple of little kids out in front turned around. Mommy, are they going to do Glass Fest again this weekend? And, you know, I'm just standing there with goosebumps. And the mommy said, no, we have to wait till next year. And the little one said, that's not fair. And I had to agree. But to be honest with you, it's such a huge event that we put on. We really do need the year to rest and rebuild for the following year. So far, I guess that would be my favorite.
That's wonderful. And if you want to make those memories, make sure you come on down and enjoy. Literally, even if you don't have a planned day, you just come on down. There's little shops, there's antique shops. Just come and enjoy the summer months and relax. Thank you for joining me on this wonderful episode of The Great Outdoors. Thank you, Colleen, for joining me on this early morning. Enjoy your summer, have fun, and I'll see you next weekend.